Good morning and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship's online Sunday service. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin by singing our opening song, Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, and God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning, beautiful souls of CLF.
Hola, CLF.
Good morning, CLF.
Hey, everybody.
Morning, CLF. We love you.
Good morning to our youth ministry. I'm always glad to see them on Sunday mornings. And good morning to all of you. I'm the Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary. I'm the senior minister here at Creative Living Fellowship, and I welcome you here to our online Sunday service. It is really great to have you here. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we welcome all paths that lead to truth. Our vision here is to be a community of care, connection, and creation that opens hearts and incubates dreams. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind. One of our practices is holding the high watch. And we have two practitioners who are holding high watch today. They are Rhonda Emmerich and Monica Zickas. And what that means is that they are sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation throughout the time of this service, just holding a space for whatever it is that we may be moving through and for the perfect unfolding of this service here today. So I thank Monica and I thank Rhonda for their service here today also. I always like to give a shout out to our Sunday service team who work really hard and really diligently to put this service together for us on Sunday mornings. They are our AV team, Nicole Jordan and Deb Covington. Deb is also our song leader. And we have our music director here, who also is our meditation leader, and that's David Panessa. Our tech team today is Reverend Mary Jane Hyde. And so thank you guys. I really appreciate your service, and I appreciate all that you do to bring this service forward for us on Sunday mornings. Nicole is going to be bringing us the announcements. And then following the announcements, there will be a brief gong wash. And after the gong wash, there'll be a few moments of silence. And then Fran Peck, practitioner, will bring us our reading and our opening prayer. I invite you to take the reading, the words of the reading, into your hearts, into your minds today, and allow them to find a resting place there. Let's just take a breath together as Nicole now brings us the announcements.
Oh, I just found out that I was muted. I apologize for that. We'll start again. Yay, it's announcement time. So your children are invited to join our youth ministry weekly for a Zoom lesson on Sundays at 12 p.m. Lessons are focused on nurturing their spirituality and science of mind practices. Weekly topics are inspired by Reverend Sherry's themes and include social, emotional, growth mindset, and mindfulness practices. Don't meditate alone. Meditate with us. Join us for midday meditation at noon, Monday through Thursday, in sacred practice. You can join us in Zoom or live streaming through Facebook. Get your community care connection on with your CLF family and Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Zoom meeting at 6:30. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. If you would like to suggest a conversation topic or activity, please email to connect@creativelivingfellowship.com. That's connect@creativelivingfellowship.com. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Has this time home in quarantine been a bit boring? Are you feeling like you have no motivation, creativity, or spunk? Have you been stuck with those people? You know, your spouse, kids, roommate, the DoorDash driver, or your dog? Well, you need a breakthrough. Sign up now for Jeannie Sovereign's 4-week class, From Blocks and Boredoms to Breakthrough. This class and at-home experiments are designed to get your spirit in the flow of Source again. Let's put this year to bed and bring on 2021 with new vitality. The class is on Saturday, starting November 14th from 1 to 3 p.m. Join us at 6 p.m. in Zoom on Wednesday, November 25th for The Greatest, our Thanksgiving Eve service, with music by Charity Lockhart. As a community, let us set the tone for Thanksgiving with gratitude, hope, and full hearts. Remember, you can use Text to Give to make your contributions to CLF. Simply text the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. If it is your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link to set up your account, and after that, it's as easy as texting the amount you'd like to tithe to 602-610-1868. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. There's no reason to miss out on your post-service prayer stop with a practitioner. Technology enables us to continue to provide this service to you. So immediately after service, head on over to Zoom and let one of our licensed practitioners hold the truth for you, no matter what you're going through, and offer you support through spiritual mind treatment and using spiritual practices. And we have post-service fellowship too. Join practitioner Jeannie Sovereigns in Facebook Messenger chat from 11:15 to 12:15 and hang out, discuss the service, what's on your mind or heart, or share something that you're grateful for. You can find the details for all of our events with their links on our website under events, under our Facebook events, posted in the comments, or in your weekly newsletter. And that is it for today's announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash, followed by a moment of silence.
Good morning. Our reading this morning is from 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wisdom from Ernest Holmes. It's entitled Unity, and it's from November 28. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. I and my Father are one. Who hath seen me hath seen the Father. Perhaps the most difficult thing for us to perceive is that there is one life running through everything, one presence manifest in everything, and one person individualized through everyone. The perception of unity sees through all differences to one universal sameness. But unity does not mean uniformity. We do not all have to be alike, think alike, or act alike. But the world is learning that we must all act in unison. The infinite one manifests in infinite variations, each rooted in the one, but each divinely unique in its own right. Good, bad, high, low, across, above, and beneath. All are one to the infinite mind. Today I seek my union with life. Today, my imagination reaches back through all differences to the universal sameness. Today I know that I am in God. God is in me. We are one. Today, as never before, I shall seek to sense this divine union of the soul with its source and of all people with the infinite. If we could come to the universal wholeness we must approach it through the law of its own nature. This means that we must give our undivided attention to the spiritual unity back of all things. So let's take a breath and let these words find a resting place. Just knowing that that one life, that one power, that one presence lives, moves, has its being, and expresses back of all things, through all things, as all of its creation. This life is love. This life is peace. This life is harmony, joy, abundance, divine wisdom, clarity, balance. And this life is my life. I live, move, and have my being in this life. And this life lives, moves, and has its being and expresses uniquely and individually as me. And as I know this is the spiritual truth of my being, I know this for each of us. That one power and that one presence, that one life is the life of us all. One source, the source of us all. So knowing this truth, I speak my word of blessing for this service. I speak my word of blessing for Reverend Dr. Sherry and her message, knowing it is divinely guided, divinely inspired. I send special blessings across our nation and across the world, knowing for us all that we are one, knowing that there are more likenesses than there are differences. I speak a special word of blessing for anyone experiencing any disease, appearance of difficulty, knowing that the power and the presence of God enfolds them, wraps them, guides and guards them. I know for us all, everything that needs to be healed is healed. Everything that needs to be revealed is revealed in that one mind. I bless teachers of truth everywhere, knowing that we are all one, that there is only one divine truth. I bless each and every one of our congregation, knowing that the power and the presence of life sustains them, prospers them, inspires them. And I bless each and every person involved in this service. I'm so very grateful for their service to this community. And so with profound thanksgiving and gratitude for this knowing, for the perfect unfolding of this service and the perfect unfolding of this day, I release my word, knowing that it is already done in the one mind of God. I release, I let go, I release and know. And so it is. Oh no. What happened? Okay. Wait a minute. What happened? What happened? And now, join me in welcoming Adam Smith.
Good morning, CLF. Welcome to my sunflower room. Thanks for having me back again. I'm going to play a couple of original songs for you today. And this first one is called A Better Tomorrow. seem so still. So I'll try something new. Don't do a 180, do a 360. Don't do 180. Count your blessings. Take a deep breath and you'll be feeling fine. You'll be feeling fine. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, little darling. Now sleep, sleep, sleep. Go to sleep.
Oh, thank you, Adam Smith. That was our favorite friend, Adam Smith, who's back with us again this Sunday. And we love having Adam here all the time. And we love his sunflower room, don't we? Thank you, Adam, for sharing that with us this morning. So let's take a deep breath together. I think we can all exhale now that the election is over. We went through last week and we made it through the week. So it's a time to exhale for all of us, I think. And I don't think that I realized that until after it was over, that I think we'd all been kind of holding our breath. I know that I had been. And so here we are. I had the opportunity to spend election day at the New Vision Center peace meditation, all day peace meditation that they held. And it was a wonderful way to spend the day. I didn't get caught up in the TV and I didn't get caught up in a lot of the drama and all that was going on. And it was a really, really, really good time to just turn within and to just be in a place of recognizing the oneness of life. And so here we are today, having made it through the week, and I'm inviting you to just take a breath as we just look at where we are right now. And one of the things that I want to say for us is that the seatbelt light is on. The seatbelt light is now on. And even though the election is over, the seatbelt light is on because there's still turbulence going on. There's still turbulence ahead. So we keep our seatbelts fastened and we continue to move through this time in our lives. We continue on this journey to unity, this journey of unity. And that's what I'm encouraging us to do. Our theme for the month is a litany of Thanksgiving. And we usually think of Thanksgiving during the month of November because that's when the holiday falls. But this is something for us to do each and every day of our lives. Just develop a litany of Thanksgiving, a litany of things to be thankful for. And that's why the topic today is in everything, in everything. In everything, give thanks. In everything, give thanks. In every situation, give thanks. In every situation, every circumstance, every event, we find something to be grateful for because gratitude, thankfulness opens our hearts. It opens our hearts. It's very difficult to have a closed heart and a closed mind when you are in the process of giving thanks. When you're looking for things to be thankful for, when you are just being grateful for everything. Then our hearts open, and as our hearts open, then we begin to heal that sense of separation that we have, and that's what we are experiencing today, is a sense of separation. And the only thing that ever needs to be healed is our sense of separation from God. And when we are feeling separate from God, we start to feel separate from each other. And when we hear so much about how our country is so divided today, and we hear a lot about division and divisiveness, it's that sense of separation that we're buying into, that sense of separation that we get caught up in. And so I'm inviting you to just take a deep breath and just open your heart and just find something to be grateful for in everything. In everything, be thankful. And as our hearts open, we begin to heal that sense of separation, and we begin to walk through this journey together. And this journey to unity, that's what we really want to look at, because, you know, there are more things that unite us than divide us. There are more things, regardless as to what we hear on the news, or what we hear from politicians, or what we hear just on the waves, on the ethers, about divisiveness and division. There are more things that unite us than separate us. And so I invite us to really look at unity, to really start to look at unity everywhere, to really start to see unity everywhere. Unity, just recognizing that there's but one life. There's but one life. There's but one power. There's but one presence. There's but one mind. There's but one, and that one is my very life. That one is the life of each of us. And so when we really come back to that basic truth, that we know that there is only one life, and each of us is a part of that one life. Each of us is made in the image and likeness, and out of that one. Each of us is made in the image and likeness, and out of that one. We are all a part of the one. Yet we're not all the same. And to that, I always say, thank God that we're not all the same. Thank God that we're not all the same. We are each unique emanations of the divine. We are each unique individualizations of the divine. And when we keep that in mind, that we are each unique, yet we are all a part of the one, then we can start to recognize that there is this ground of unity that brings us all together, this ground of unity that's embedded with us, within our very DNA, this ground of unity that brings us together, that makes us all recognize that we are a part of the one. And so I invite you today to just begin to take a breath and just release that sense of separateness, that sense of separation. That sense of separation, because we are not separated. We are separate beings, but we are not separated, because we are part of the divine. And if there's only one life, and we are each a part of that one life, then we have to be a part of each other. We have to be one with each other. And so that's the thing that I really want us to really keep in mind as we move through this time together. No matter what we hear, no matter what we see, no matter what the facts may be, we have to keep returning to the truth. We have to keep returning to the truth that there is but one life, and we are part of that one life. And that just like I'm a part of that one life, so are you, and so is everybody else. And that's the important thing for us to keep in mind as we go through this period. Because as I said, it's time to keep our seatbelts fastened, continue to dive deeper into your spiritual practice, continue to meditate more, continue to pray more, continue to give thanks more. Because Thanksgiving and gratitude is a part of our spiritual practice. And so continue to find a way to give thanks in everything. And continue to see unity everywhere. Continue to see unity everywhere. And Ernest Holmes says that the way to develop the consciousness of unity, we cannot develop the consciousness of unity until we can see that what we are looking for is what we're looking with and what we're looking at. What we're looking for is what we're looking with. And so to look at unity, to look for unity, to see unity, we got to be looking with unity, with that sense of oneness, with that sense of connection, with that sense of being a part of the whole, and with the sense that we are all a part of the whole. And so as we walk through this time, even though there are differences, even though those differences have not changed and probably won't for a long time to come, even though there are differences, there has to be unity. There has to be a coming together. There has to be an acceptance of each other. You know, one of the things that the statistics that came up over the week, well, I guess it's not a statistic, but facts that came up over the past week with the election is that 74 million people voted for one person and 70 million people voted for the other person when it comes to the presidential race. And that's a lot of folks. And that means that each one of us knows at least one person who voted differently from the way that we did, or who believes differently from the way that we do. But you know what? That just means that we have different beliefs, we have different priorities, we have different values, we have different ideas, we have different opinions. But it doesn't mean that we have to demonize each other. It doesn't mean that we have to be separate from each other. It doesn't mean that we have to move into tribal camps. It doesn't mean that we have to do any of that, except to recognize that we are different, yet we are all one. And that is what is so important for us to do, that we are, to keep in mind that we are all a part of the one. And so I'm inviting you again to just take a breath as we just look at how do we move through this time? How do we journey on this road to unity together? And I think there are a couple of things I want you to keep in mind, 3 things I want you to keep in mind. One of them is to find the commonalities, find common ground with other people, find common ground, because there's common ground for all of us. What do we have in common? Because as I said, there are more things that unify us than separate us. There are more things that unify us than divide us. So what are the things that we have in common? What are the things? We have to look for those things sometimes, because first of all, when we come, in particular when it comes to the political spectrum, when we come across people who believe differently than we are, who are on a different side of the political divide than we are, the first thing we want to do is to move into the them and us camp. The them and us camp. The other thing we want to do is to label them. We label each other. And so I'm inviting you, don't label each other. Don't label, because when we label people, then they start to act according to the label we've given them, because that's the eyes through which we see them, the way we've labeled them. And then we have an expectation that they're going to act a certain way, or they're going to do a certain thing, or that they think a certain way. And oftentimes this is about people we don't even know. And so I'm inviting us to not label. Let's don't label anybody. Let's don't label anybody. Let's just, as we come across people, as we see people, as we meet people, let's accept them, take them at face value, see them for who they are. Just see them. Just accept them for the way that they are appearing without labeling. Without labeling, that is so important. And it's important for us not to label ourselves, because when we're labeling ourselves, then we are acting according to our labels of ourselves. We're acting according to whatever we think that label means. And so it's very, very important for us not to label. It is because once we start to label, we start oftentimes to get into demonizing. We get into the otherness. We get into all kinds of things when we start to label each other. Another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to make assumptions. Let's not make assumptions about people. Let's not make assumptions. Let's not look at somebody and make an assumption about them and how they live their lives, what their beliefs are, what their political persuasion is, whatever the case may be. It isn't necessary to make assumptions. We just meet each other where we are and move through our lives together the way that we can move through our lives together without the labels, without the assumptions, without the expectation that a person is going to act a particular way because of who we think they are, or the assumptions that we've made about them. So it's really, really important that we find the common grounds. The common grounds. What are the commonalities that we have? We're all human. There are basic things that we all experience. There are basic things that we all want. There are basic things that are really important to all of us. Love is important to all of us. Recognition is important to all of us. Value, being valued, being appreciated is important to all of us. Being seen, being heard is something that is important to all of us. And there's so many things that I can't even name that are important to each one of us, no matter what, no matter where we are, no matter how we are appearing in the world. There are things that are basic. There are things that are basic to each one of us. And so I'm inviting you to open your heart and open your mind and find the common ground. Look through the eyes of unity for the unity that we want to experience. Look through the eyes of unity for the healing that we want to see happen, the healing of that sense of separation. because that sense of separation really takes us off into all kinds of areas, all kinds of weeds that we don't want to be into at all. So let's just begin to find the common ground that we can really, really, really begin to appreciate about each other. And we begin to walk this road together, because that's what we're all doing. We're all in this life together. We're all in this life together. And the only way we can get through it is to walk it together, to walk it together, to walk it together. And as I said last week when I was quoting Martin Luther King, is that we have to all learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. And that's something that we want to learn to live together. We want to learn to walk the road together. We want to heal this sense of separation. Now, I may make it sound easier than it really can be sometimes. Sometimes it can be not so easy to do this. And we have to keep in mind also that we have to give up our attachment to what healing looks like, because, you know, healing is sometimes not pretty. Sometimes it's not easy, it's not pretty. Sometimes it gets a little yucky. And we have to keep that in mind also. And we keep moving toward the healing. We keep opening up for the healing. We keep opening up for how can we heal this sense of separation? How can I find common ground? Even though I don't like what I'm seeing, Ernest Holmes says, refuse to see the negative side of others. Ernest Holmes says, refuse to see the negative side of others. I think that's a big charge sometimes. It's a big charge sometimes, a big challenge to us sometimes, to refuse to see the negative side of others. And you know what? We can do that. We can do that. We have to make sure that what we're looking for, what we're looking at, is what we're looking with. And if we're not looking with negativity, then we can start to see the positive side. We can start to see the light around others, just like we see the light within ourselves. We have to bring that light forward to look for what we want to see, which is healing, which is unity, which is oneness, the oneness of life. And, you know, after we find the common ground that we all share, then the thing for us to do is to, my notification went off and it just distracted me for a minute. But the thing for us to do is to, once we find the common ground, the thing for us to do is to just keep moving forward and keep moving forward, and then to learn to respect the right to choose. Learn to respect the right to choose. Respect the right to choose. We each have the right to choose. We each have the right to choose our own life. We each have a right to choose our own path. We each have a right to choose how we're going to be in this life, how we're going to live in this world, what our political persuasion will be, what our religious persuasion will be, or not to have any at all. We have the right to choose. And I always say that the right to choose is one of the greatest gifts that God gave us, was the right to choose. And just as I have the right to choose, then so do you. Just as I have the right to choose, then everyone has the right to choose. You know, life is like a big shoe store. You know, the shoes come in all sizes, all colors, all shapes, all styles. It's like a big shoe store. You can go and you can try on a pair. If you don't like those, you can try on another pair. If you don't like those, you can try on another pair. You can get them in each color that you want. You can get some with the toes in and with the heels out. You can get some all closed in. You can get all kinds of shoes. That's how life is. And so when I go into a shoe store, I have a right to choose the shoes that I like. When you go into a shoe store, you get a chance, you have a right to choose the shoes that you like. And I may not like the shoes that you chose, but you know what? They're not mine, they're yours. And it's your choice. And you may not like the shoes that I chose, but that doesn't make me a bad person. We both like shoes, and we're both getting shoes, and we both wear shoes. That's one of our commonalities, is that we all wear shoes most of the time. And so when we wear shoes, then that's something that we have in common. We may not like the same color. We may not like the same style, but we still are choosing shoes. And so respecting each other's right to choose, respecting each other's right to choose our own religion, respecting our right to choose our own tribe, respecting our right to choose our own friends, respecting our right to choose our own values, respecting our right to choose our own beliefs and our own thoughts. our own beliefs and our own thoughts, when we respect the right to choose, that brings us into that place of unity. That brings us into that place of unity. And that also, when we do that, we are opening our hearts so that we can learn to, in this, give thanks also. In this, give thanks also. Give thanks for the right to choose. I give thanks that I have the right to choose the shoes that I want. I give thanks that I have a right to choose the life that I want. I give thanks that I have a right to choose the friends that I want. I give thanks that I have a right to choose where I want to live. I give thanks that I have a right to choose my religion, my spiritual beliefs, or whatever practices, or whatever the case may be. And I also give thanks that you have a right to do that also. It may be different than mine. It may be different. I may not believe the same thing you do, but I respect your right to choose. Now, I may not like the choices, as I said, but I respect your right to make those choices. And so long as you don't then begin to exercise your choice all over me, and I don't begin to exercise my choices all over you, that's how we learn to live in unity. That's how we learn to live together. That's how we learn to live in harmony. I don't expect you to like the same things I do. I don't expect you to choose the same things. And I don't want you to expect me to choose the same things that you choose. Yet I respect your right to choose. I respect your right to choose. And so that's how we come together on this journey to unity. That's how we come together on this journey to unity. And so as I talk about this, as I said, sometimes I can make it sound easy, and I know that it isn't always. The last thing I want us to keep in mind is to really give ourselves a break. Give ourselves a break. Embrace our moments when we fall short, and give ourselves a break. Sometimes we aren't always able to do that. Sometimes we don't always remember. Sometimes we don't always remember that you have a right to choose, or that the other person has a right to choose. Sometimes we don't always remember to look for the commonalities. And when we fall short, and when we find ourselves judging, or when we find ourselves labeling, or when we find ourselves doing all that, then just take a breath, take a step back, and embrace those moments that we fall short. Embrace our momentary lapses. And it's just like falling off the wagon. You get right back on and you fasten your seatbelt a little bit tighter. You fasten your seatbelt just a little bit more securely. And that's what we have to do as we move through this time, as we move through this life, as we move through this journey. And this is a journey of oneness, not a journey to oneness, because oneness is not a destination. Oneness already is. And so this is the journey of oneness, and we have to constantly, it's like driving, we have to constantly make adjustments as we're going down the highway. If there's that center divide in the highway, we have to constantly make adjustments so we don't run into it, or so we don't run off on the shoulders or whatever. We're constantly making adjustments as we go down the road. And so as we are on this journey of oneness, we have to constantly make adjustments, because sometimes we get a little sleepy, we get a little tired, we pull out, we wobble off the road a little bit. And then we have to make the adjustment to come back on, to come back into that place of accepting each other as we are, to knowing that we are in that place of healing our sense of separation, that we're in that place of coming into that the oneness that we already are, the oneness that we live and move and have our being in. And so I invite you today to give thanks in all things, and give thanks for the unity that we are experiencing. We give thanks in advance as though it's already taken place. And so to our litany of thanksgiving, I want us to add thanksgiving and giving thanks for unity, giving thanks for the unity that's all around me, giving thanks for the unity that is a part of my life, giving thanks for the unity in which I live, giving thanks for the expressions of unity that's coming from other people and everywhere. And so I invite you to just continue to be in a place of oneness, to walk this road of oneness easily and effortlessly, and with open hearts and open minds. And so I'm going to invite you to take a breath now as we just begin to move into that place of prayer, that place of knowing that the oneness of life, the oneness, the one power, the one life, the one mind. And so turn within with me in this moment. As we turn within in this moment, just knowing that there is but one life, knowing that there is but one power, knowing there is but one presence, one mind, one activity, one life, one activity, one breath, knowing that there's only one, and that one I choose to call God. But by any other name, it is the source of our being. That one is perfect. That one is my life. That one is a life of each of us. And so just knowing this truth, I speak the word for each of us. Just knowing that we are all one, we are each made in the image and likeness and out of pure spirit itself. That we are each whole, we are each perfect, we are each complete, just as we are. And so we release any sense of separateness. We release any sense of being separate from the one and being separate from each other, or being separate from ourselves even. We just release all that. We release all that. And we just open ourselves up to that wholeness that already is, that oneness that already is. And as we do this, all things are made new. All things are made new. We release and let go of the judgment, of the fear, of the doubt. And we open up our hearts to love and to peace and to unity and to acceptance and to joy and to healing that sense of separation. I speak this word for anyone who is in need of anything this day. I know that God is showing up in each and every life as whatever it is that the need may be. God is showing up as abundance, as a prosperity, as love, as peace, as harmony, as oneness, as balance. God is showing up in each and every life. And we just open our hearts and just receive the healing that is available for each and every one of us. This word goes out to anyone who's affected by COVID-19, anyone who is affected by it in their own body temples, or who is affected by loss of a loved one, knowing that God is in the midst of everything. God is in the midst of the pain. God is in the midst of loss. God is in the midst of every situation, every circumstance, and that healing is happening everywhere, everywhere. I know that we are filled with compassion and love and ease and comfort and healing on every level of our being. This word goes out to anyone on this planet who needs a prayer this day, knowing that right where each of them is, the power and the presence of God is. And as the circle of prayer opens, I just pause momentarily so you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that right where each of them is, God is blessing and keeping them, and that healing is happening, and that all is well, for all is God. And so I simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the perfect manifestation of this word that's been spoken here this day. I know that all is well, for I know that all is God. And so it is. Thank you, David. And so now we move into our offering time. This is a time that we give of our tithes and our offerings here at Creative Living Fellowship. I'd like to remind you that Creative Living Fellowship is a tithing community, and we'd like to invite you to participate in this sacred practice with us by tithing right here at Creative Living Fellowship. You can do that by pressing the donate button on our website, or you can click on the link on the comments, or you can text to give. However you do it, we certainly do appreciate your tithes and your offerings and your continued support of our ministry here. And so why don't we pause for a moment now and just say our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I have, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. And so now here's Adam Smith again with our offering song.
In this life, I have plenty, and I'm grateful to many teachers and people, flowers and creatures. Not saying something is not the way to go. These things are sacred as above below. So thank you for helping the days go by. 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 Thank you. This life, there is someone to love and to get love from. Tell you now, that person is you and me. Those people I know are everyone, everywhere. And not saying anything is not the way to go. I know. And this love blesses me as above below I go. So thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Days go by, days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Days go by. Days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Thank you for helping the days go by. Days go
Thank you, Adam Smith. Now that was a litany of Thanksgiving. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here with us today, and we look forward to having you back real soon. Let's take a quick breath together, a deep breath together. I have a couple of announcements. Just want to remind you that the youth ministry meets at 12 o'clock, so you can drop your kids off at the Zoom room this morning at 12 o'clock for the youth ministry. Also, you can stop in immediately after service for the Zoom prayer room. You can have prayer live with the practitioner in individual prayer rooms at the Zoom prayer room, and practitioners will be waiting for you there immediately following the service today. Also, immediately following the service, don't forget to stop in on practitioner Jeannie Sarvern's fellowship time. That will be immediately after service, also in a separate Zoom room. And of course, Jeannie's class starts on Saturday. Don't forget to sign up for that class, from boredom to breaks to breakthrough. If that's not the right word, stop in and check it out in the comments section. If that's not the right name, stop in and check out the comment section and sign up for that class on Saturday. I'm sure it will be a great class that Jeannie Sarvens will be teaching. So we have the Tuesday evening connection call. Don't forget to stop in and connect with us. That's the whole purpose of having the connection call on Tuesday evenings, is so that we can stay connected as a community, since we are a community of connection. I'd love to see you there on Tuesday evenings. We will be connecting on Zoom at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:45. And this is our week for conscious conversation. So I'd love to have conscious conversation with you. So let's take a breath as we just continue on with remembering to use the treatment for supply. I remind us every week to use the treatment for supply. Let that continue as a part of your spiritual practice every day, twice a day, using the treatment for supply. Page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. Wonderful, wonderful treatment for every aspect of our lives. Most importantly, don't forget to connect with each other. Continue to call, continue to reach out, continue to send text messages or emails saying, I love you, I think of you, I miss you, I'd love to see you, but just connecting. How are you? I think that's really important for us to continue to do that. And I invite you and encourage you to continue to do that. Know that I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you at some point. And now we'll have our closing song, our release. See you next week.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life and my